Hi, welcome to the studio. Thanks for spending a few minutes with me again today. We're going to take a look at a very famous orchestral work, a wonderful, colorful, entertaining piece by Nikolai Rimsky-Korsakov called Scheherazade. Some of you are familiar with it. Some of you may be working on it. For those of you who are preparing to be orchestral musicians or are preparing to play auditions, you may find this on auditions and you may already be familiar with it, but hopefully some of the things I'll look at today will help you to prepare and refine the quality of your work a little bit better, so you'll have more success in your auditions. For those of you who are not at all interested in playing in an orchestra, or you may not be at a technical level where this piece would be accessible, I offer it to you as a challenge, because it contains a lot of things that all trumpet players should be able to do, but most of us don't spend a lot of time doing, the main one being multiple tonguing, triple tonguing and double tonguing. So that's one of the main reasons why it's on the auditions, is to see how you do with the articulation. But there are a lot of other considerations with this piece. So I'm just going to work through it very quickly. And of course, we're using a C trumpet today for what it's worth. And we're going to be using some mutes as well. The very first passage that the trumpet plays in the second movement is a response to the trombone solo. And so it's there's something that normally happens, and I'll caution you about a few of these things, so hopefully you can avoid this mistake. The trombone player, second trombone, plays this very bold, bum, ba bum, ba beep, ba ba bum, ba bum, a very strong dramatic statement. And the trumpet statement is an echo of it. And so it's a response. And a lot of people play this way too loud. They get all pumped up. They hear the trombone player playing with this incredible, drama and power in the sound, and they feel, as typical brass players will, oh, I need to match that. So but it's only mezzo forte. So avoid the tendency to go pounding away at this. It's supposed to be almost like an echo. It's not soft, but it's like an echo. It's muted, so it has a different sound. It's a response. A lot of times the most important thing you can do is consider the attitude and the relationships that are being expressed in the music, and that kind of tells you what to do. And you can also do this by listening to recordings. Let's see, I'm going to just skip through here. You have this figure over and over again. I'll play a little passage. You'll hear it over and over again because I'm going to play a lot of these passages. Let's see, you play that solo, that little solo again with a mute. It's marked molto moderato. It's also marked ad libitum. The trombone player is, I think it's marked espressivo. The holds, the fermati, are marked lunga, so you're supposed to sustain that for a long time. Most of these things you can learn just by listening to good orchestra performances. One thing I'm going to warn you about with this piece is you'll hear this played at many different tempi, and you need to prepare to be able to play it at whatever tempo the conductor feels at the moment. So flexibility with your tempo is very important, and that's challenging because of the articulation in this piece. So I'm going to play at a kind of a moderate tempo, taking the mute out, and this is after rehearsal letter E in the second movement. I'm skipping the opening movement because it's just sustaining, beautiful, big trumpet voice in the orchestra. Maybe I'll go back and do it at the end, but I don't think we need to do that right now. So you have this figure. The thing to notice is it says risoluto marcato. So the rhythm is very, very explicit. And you have two different kinds of rhythm. And this is a great thing for any trumpet player to practice. You have dotted 8th, 16th rhythm and triplet right next to one another. Now those are pretty close. So anybody who studied this piece with an experienced teacher already knows this. What you need to do is listen to make sure that you're actually executing it. So let's see here. So you have a difference between the duplet or 16th notes and the triplet are always contrasted with one another all the way through the whole piece. And a lot of people play ta, 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 play the 16th just like the triplet or close to it. So that's something we really need to work on. It's a physical issue, but it's mostly a musical thing that you need to listen for. And I'll give you a couple of suggestions as we move through as far as how to articulate this. But the bottom line is everybody has to come up with their own way of doing it that is the most comfortable and the most successful in terms of the qualities of the sound you're producing. So here there's a fair amount of command in it. And I'm going to check my tempo because I think, yeah. So that's pretty close. Now you're going to have a lot of variety, but that's, around 126 for this particular allegro. It says allegro molto, tempo giusto, so it makes you feel like, oh, this is really fast. I strongly recommend that you play it at all tempi. So I might play it under that tempo. That's 126. I think I did play it under the tempo. Something to keep in mind is it doesn't matter what the tempo is, the proportion of the rhythm, the dotted 8th 16th, that proportion stays the same. The triplet relationship stays the same. So that's what you're listening for all the way through. Now I realize for you experienced players, this is like, yeah, blah, blah, blah. Okay, let's hear you play a little bit. Okay, I'll play through some of this stuff. Let me play through that passage. This is again, I don't know, about 15 bars after rehearsal number E in the second movement. So you're starting to get the idea, a lot of marcato articulation. I strongly recommend that you work on the quality. Record yourself, listen to see if you're getting that snap, crackle, pop in the articulation. And a lot of that is making sure that you're not going ta, 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 not blowing straight through, but ta, 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 so it has bounce to it. That's the style. You can hear it. And I'm going to skip down to, let's see, where would be a good place to do this? It's basically the same idea, and this theme, this rhythmic theme, comes back over and over again. Let's see here, maybe H. And another thing to watch for, at G it says tempo giusto, at H it says stringendo poco, and then after that it says tempo 1. So there's a lot of flexibility in the tempo. That's why it's really important to get used to playing these things at different tempi. So I'm going to play this a little bit faster because it's normally slightly faster at this part of the piece. So my problem is I always end up playing everything too fast. I tend to practice things too quickly. That's why I'm admonishing you so strongly to get used to playing this at different tempi. That means finding the groove and feeling comfortable no matter what tempo you're playing it at. Part of that is physical. So as I work through, let me play a couple of other spots here. As you can see, I'm a little indecisive. I can't decide which ones I want to do. Let me try it before K. Yeah, that's a nice spot. Now what you have is the duple triple rhythm again, the dotted 8/16 and triplet. And now we have to figure out how to tongue it because very quickly then you have a triplet dotted eighth, triplet eighth, tan ta da ta 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 tan ta da, which is a different rhythm. It's kind of interesting. So let's see. Yeah, 4 bars before K. you heard me go a little faster at the end. It says normally, I don't know if it's in the score or not, but traditionally at that spot, right leading into L, it starts to gallop a little bit. Again, with the flexibility with the rhythm. So some of you may be wondering how I'm tonguing that. And the basic rule is tongue it the way that it sounds best. You get the most crispness and clarity in the articulation. It's the way it's easiest for you to do physically and easiest to maintain the quality of the rhythm. That pretty much covers it. So there are no real rules about it, but I'll give you a couple of suggestions. A general rule is, if you want to call it a rule, is you don't want to put more than 2 T's in a row when you're going very quickly. So if you're going ta 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 ka ta 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 ka ta ta, that's ta 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 ta, 2 fast T's, a K, right? So you can experiment, and I strongly recommend that you do experiment with all different kinds of articulation on this. I'll look at some of the other licks and the other movements very shortly, and there are all kinds of articulation patterns that you can be working with. This one tripped me up a little bit because I wasn't used to playing the triplet, so I experiment with many different ways, but that time, in that particular instance, I was going ta ka ta 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 ta, ta ka ta 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 ka ta 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 ta. That way I can just flip the K and get a quick articulation and maintain the integrity of the rhythm. So if you go ta 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 ta, doing it all single tongue might be easier for you. For me, it's a little bit easier with the K, which is why I do it. That's totally a personal choice. Nobody cares about how we're doing it, they only care how it sounds. So that's the main thing to keep your ears on when you go through this. Let's see, moving on through, third movement. There's a nice little figure in this movement at letter G, and it's an accompanying figure. I think you might be accompanying the flute if I'm remembering correctly at this point. The violins have the melody before this. But I'm going to go ahead and play it. And it's you'll hear there's a melody. That's the important thing going on. What you're playing is not the main focus of attention, but it's supportive material. What's important about it? It's very much like being a drummer at this point. Let me go ahead and try and play this. So the important thing there is separation between the notes. You can't be going ta 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 ta. It says always marcato. So that means clearly delineated. Now I'm letting you hear the sound of the room here when I'm recording. So it's a little bit more reverberant than some spaces. If you play this in a dead space, you're going to hear very clearly what the result is between the notes, and that's what you want to listen for. Listen not only for how long the note is, but the sound of the beginning of the note, the sound of the body of the note, and then the how the note releases and the space between the note. Listen to the whole thing. That means you're going to be listening pretty quickly, or if you record yourself, you can just go back and listen, and it makes the job a lot easier. Now the next section, right after I stopped, 8 bars later, there's a section which is done in a traditional way, and you pick these things up by listening and by performing this piece in the orchestra. But the conductor usually lets it stretch a little bit at this point. So you're going dun dum dee da dee ya da dee, but he's going to take time there, so you have to be very, very aware of what's happening. You notice you play the same thing twice? It might be a little bit different. Dee da dee ya dee dong. And feeling that groove, feeling that connection with how the conductor is feeling it is the main thing you want to be free to do. You don't want the technique getting in the way at this point. Okay, moving on to the fourth movement. I'm rushing through as usual. This is a spot that a lot of people work on. This is the pickups into C in the fourth movement. I think if you're familiar with the piece, you'll immediately recognize what it is. Let's see if I can get this one. So you see you're acting as a percussionist a lot of the time. And that's a really good way to think. If you listen to the sound of the snare drum, if you listen to those, all the percussion instruments, but especially in this case, that snare drum, you'll hear the attack, body of the note, decay sound in the snare drum. And in a way, that's what you're trying to imitate. Of course, it's not the same physical mechanism, but we're trumpet players, but it's great to try and imitate the qualities that you have there. I know I'm skipping a lot of this piece through the really fun stuff, but let me see. Oh yeah, there's another one that now it switches to double tongue. So we're in the fourth movement, and I got to remember what key I'm in. Oh, that's something else to keep in mind. For those of you who don't know, you're switching back and forth between trumpet in A and trumpet in B flat. Of course, I'm playing in C, so I'm transposing whatever in this piece. And that's just part of the job of being an orchestral trumpet player. So here, I think we're in A, and this is Q in the fourth movement. Let me start a few bars before. Yeah, I don't know, maybe 5 or 6 bars before. So you got a lot of double tongue going on there. And then there's another passage following this where you're double tonguing and playing very softly. This is another accompanying passage. So this starts at T. Now that was a little rough. I would practice that a little bit more. One thing that helps me is we tend to concentrate on the tonguing, which I was doing. And what you're actually doing is you're just sustaining sound. So you're going. You're actually playing a little harmonic reinforcement, a little melody that goes through there. And the tonguing is just a decoration. It's a form of texture, you might say, that gives the music some interest. But since it's physically challenging for most of us, we end up concentrating on it a great deal. And that's what I was doing that time. I didn't particularly like that. So I'm going to think more in terms of the sound, the tone of my voice. So it says pianissimo. That's in the context of the orchestra. It's difficult to tell on these recordings, but I was playing it softer than I would in the orchestra, just to kind of test myself. And another thing I want you to notice is at the end, and I didn't execute it very well, but listen for this. It's a full-length eighth. It's very typical of orchestral style and technique. Make sure you play things intentionally and with exactly the right rhythmic releases. Sometimes it's what's written in the music, sometimes it's kind of a traditional thing, other times it's open to your personal interpretation. But in this case, you have an octave, and you know you want the octave to be in tune. So that's something that in auditions, you'll often hear when people go from... The octave will be spread, the low A will be too low, and the upper A will be too high. And you don't notice it because you're concentrating on the tonguing. so that's the real challenge in this. There's so much trumpet stuff going on that sometimes we're not concentrating on the qualities of what we're doing. Okay. Okay, yeah, we got maybe one more thing. Now this is an interesting thing. In the last movement, at W, it says spiritoso. So there's a lot of energy, right? And it's an interesting figure. It's 8th, 16th, 8th, 16th. So you have a figure that's da 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 da. So that's basically a triplet. It's not a dotted eighth. There you have a dotted 16th and a 32nd. Dun da da, da 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 da, dun da da. That's different than the rhythm that you just played before. Now, granted, it's a very small difference, and the most important thing is that people in the orchestra are playing it the same way. But in an audition, you want to be able to show that you're actually being quite meticulous about the rhythm and playing it correctly, because people can hear the trumpet. Here it's marked forte, and if you're going da-da-ka-da-da. See how I put two T's? Da-da-ka-da-da. I put the K in the middle of the triplet. Da-ka-da-da, da-da-da, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, da-da-da-da-da-da-da, right? Then you have this figure. Now at that point, I didn't play it as loudly as I would in the orchestra. You really open up. The whole orchestra is together and it's one solid kind of wall of resonant sound with all the colors in it. It's amazing. And now you get some sustaining going on. And you have to be physically in good condition to do this. I don't know what my conditioning is like right now. Not great. But I'll try and show you some of this. Sorry if this is rushed, but that's the advantage of a video. You can always stop and go back and look at stuff. Again, to reiterate what I just did with the articulation. Some people do it ta ta ka ta ka ta ta ka ta ka ta. So they go ta ta ka ta ka ta. So it's like a double tongue. Some people do it ta 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 ka ta 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 ta. So the triplet has the K in the middle. Again, I'm strongly recommending that you do play this slowly, work on the qualities of the articulation, the qualities of your sound, the physical confidence and comfort, fun of playing this, improve all those things, and then choose the way that's best for you. If you're doing it well, nobody will know what you're doing with the articulation. Unless you're trying the double tongue articulation, which is the advantage of ta-ka-ta-ka-ta is that you can go a little bit faster. Some people call it cheating. I call it being practical. So I'm always able to switch between, ta-ta-ka-ta-ta, ta-ta-ka-ta-ta, and ta-ka-ta-ka-ta, 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 so I can go a lot faster if I need to. And that gives me a lot of control over the quality of what's coming out of the horn, and that's all they care about, basically. So That is a fun little passage, but it's right at the end of the piece, and then you're playing big, loud orchestral style again. I'm going to try this. I hope it doesn't clip the mic, but we'll see. So you end on that loud chord. I'm going to start at X, so this is the sustaining part. And then the theme. Exciting stuff. So again, that was a little rough, but for me it's mostly a matter of concentration, and my brain is failing a little bit right now. But thanks for bearing with me and for taking the time to watch this. And I hope you find it as a helpful study aid when you're working on this piece. Just things to listen for and different ways to do stuff that hopefully some of that stuff is going to be helpful for you. So I'll see you later on when you have some time, and enjoy your practice. It's a wonderful thing that we get to be able to play this music. See you later. Bye-bye.